She gives all women a bad name, and in many ways undoes years of work building up credibility for victims of domestic violence. She claimed in her statement that the verdict was a setback for women. But that's not true. She is the one who has set back the cause for women. That, I'm afraid, is the hard truth she must now accept. These were words about Amber by Sarah Vines on The Mail, where she claimed she and all her female friends and relatives were happy of the fact that Johnny won the defamation trial, and it's not necessarily because they personally knew Johnny, but because they could see a man suffering over allegations that were quite obviously not true. When the verdict was announced, most of the people who were actually elated about the results were women, and this might seem odd since as females we were supposed to take Amber's side, but this trial taught us that relationships could get so toxic to the point where it changes us negatively. But there's a stark difference between a toxic relationship and an abusive one, so for Amber to jump into the #MeToo bandwagon over her toxic relationship and then label Johnny an abuser was really heartbreaking. Johnny has never claimed to be a saint, and he's openly discussed his issues with drug and substance abuse. This never meant that he was a wife beater. It just meant he had his own demons he was dealing with. And for the love of his life, to use his mental issues and his drug problem as evidence of him domestically and sexually abusing her was sick. Elaine, Amber's lawyer, appeared in a show where she claimed that the verdict was a setback to women, but we could see that this was just BS from Amber and her team. The verdict actually opened people's eyes where they could notice that men are not always the monsters and women are not always the damsels in distress. Amber is the one who has actually created a setback for all the women who have been trying to get their voices heard for years because, unlike her, they don't have the money, social media support, or celebrity status that she had and had abused. All those women who had believed her and hoped that just like her, they too would get justice from their abusers, had their dreams crushed while watching the trial because they realized that Johnny was the victim and that even after years of being labeled the monster by his ex-wife, she was still abusing him by making him relive all that he went through in her hands. The one thing that most victims of abuse noticed that proved to them that Amber was the abuser was when Amber kept using reverse psychology and blaming him for her horrible actions. She would get crazy and throw stuff at him and hit him, then tell him it was his fault for making her angry.
I know I can't blame myself entirely for going straight to the fucking finish line the first sign of stress yesterday. I fucked up last night. I'm not going to defend myself. But I also can't blame me going to the finish line when that's always where
This is the normal routine for most abusers, blaming their victims for their violent actions. I can't even think of what all those women who have actually gone through what Amber was explaining had happened to her. What they felt listening to all those stories while knowing that Amber was just using their experience as a way to lie that Johnny hurt her. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. We said, nope, that wasn't the case for Johnny. Even before anyone listened to him, he was already on a spiral case, falling down into despair and misfortunes. He was labeled the wife beater. He had lost his job, got fired from Disney, and his fans had abandoned him. There was only one acceptable narrative: a woman can do no wrong. All men are animals. Amber even reminded him that no one would believe him if he claimed to have been abused because he is a man, and so she did not expect him to fight that, to stand up against our society and claim that I, Johnny Depp, am a victim of domestic abuse by none other than my loving ex-wife Amber Heard. He sued her for defaming him and telling lies with the intent of malice when she wrote the 2018 op-ed claiming to have been a survivor of domestic abuse. His win was also a win to all those men who had been disregarded when they claimed to have never hurt their wives and that they were actually victims. It gives men a voice to speak up, because if someone like Johnny Depp can go through what they are going through, people will now be more cautious when dealing with cases like that. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.